Hi class. How you doing today? I want to do a little bit of a discussion, just quick, about the idea of space in a painting or in a drawing, basically in a 2D surface. It's important to understand that when you're drawing something like the tree out your window or the still life in the corner, you're translating, and I've written about this and I've talked about this a bunch, but you're translating three-dimensional stuff that has dimension, like this chair, into a two-dimensional representation of that chair, okay? So it's a total illusion, obviously, to turn something that's physical into something that's just this flat image of that physical thing. You represent it. You don't recreate it, you represent it. And so to create the illusion of volume and space, there's all kinds of little tricks that are involved. It's not about, and this is the most important thing to understand, it's not about drawing or painting the object accurately, as if you were making a photograph of it, okay? That's a common misunderstanding, that if I can only get all the detail here, represent this accurately in all its detail, it'd be perfect. That's a complete misunderstanding of how you create space. And I'd look at an artist like Da Vinci, for example, Leonardo da Vinci or Rembrandt, as artists who created a great sense of space and volume and even naturalness by leaving out a whole lot of details, by doing all kinds of distortions, by kind of messing around with what they were looking at and combining images even, okay? So they don't represent what their view of reality as if it were a photograph, obviously, because they didn't have photographs. But we have this idea of photography in our head that if only we could capture all the little details, it would look like a photograph. So it's really important to get that out of your head, to just not think of it, because you're a machine. You're not a machine. You're a human being, and so you interpret reality. And part of that interpretation has to do with, if you're looking at this chair and you're trying to draw this chair, first of all, you know that even if you're drawing it from a fixed position, you know the chair has a back to it. You know that it has a side to it. You know that it has a front to it. You also know that you can sit in it. You have a physical relationship with this chair that is unique to this object. You understand this physically. And that comes into play when you try to draw a picture of this chair. I know it sounds weird, but it's true. So if you're trying to draw this mug realistically, you hold mugs, you understand their sense of volume. And so this physical understanding, which is very intuitive, of this object kind of gets in the way and disrupts that two-dimensional interpretation of this object, if that makes sense. So people will, that's why if you look at a lot of people's drawings, say, of a mug, they'll try to draw the top of the mug in addition to the side of the mug. This top part will be all wonky like that, and this, it'll be all kind of out of whack because they know that this mug has an opening that they use. So but if you actually look at the mug from a single point of view, you can barely see the top. So that's kind of my point. So that intuitive physical understanding of the object disrupts and gets in the way of the attempt to draw the object accurately. Now, the creation of space on a flat plane is based on a few basic ideas. The first is overlap, okay? So things overlap each other. You can create the illusion of space by having, here's two objects, okay? Hopefully it's in the picture. Here's two objects, and right now they look sort of like they're at the same level spatially. And I go like that, and suddenly, ooh, it's like a magic trick. This one's behind that one because you see the overlap. Okay, so in your drawings and paintings, when you can emphasize overlap to create the illusion of space, of receding space. The other way is scale change. Big things, okay, or close things appear, there's Mr. Rogers again, do you see him? Appear to be closer to you than smaller things, okay? So scale, you can use scale to create space on a flat plane. And I lump perspective into scale. the use of perspective to create the illusion of space, like 1 and 2 point perspective. That is basically using scale to create space, the illusion of space. So overlap, scale change. You can use what's called atmospheric perspective. And atmospheric perspective is basically the use of value to create the illusion of space. So things that are far away, okay, appear to be kind of less intense. You don't use as strong values to describe things that are far away. Think of mountains in the distance. Mountains, the values, the lights and darks that you perceive in the distant mountains are not as strong as the lights and darks that you see on the ground at your feet or in the tree right next to you. The lights and darks are much stronger. The contrast between the lights and darks are much stronger the closer you get. Okay? Atmospheric perspective. Color. You can use color to create the illusion of space, and this kind of fits in with value. So strong colors, warmer colors, tend to come closer. It creates the illusion of space through just color. So like a nice, strong, bright red is going to appear to be closer to you than a blue-green. A blue-green recedes. So color can be used. So you could have maybe a stronger red in the foreground of your painting or drawing and cooler colors in the background to create that feeling of space. The color, the warmth of the color. So like a warmish color, a very warm color, appears to be closer than a further color. I guess I just said that. The intensity of the color can do that too. So the hue intensity will appear to be closer, and that's also related to kind of value than a less. So you can have two reds, and a really strong red compared to a really light or less intense red, that will be closer to than the other one, if that makes sense. So let's see, do I have them all? Atmospheric perspective, scale, color. Yeah, that's about it. Overlap. Yeah, if I think of something else, I'll send out another video, but that's something to chew on. Those of you in the watercolor class, the other thing to focus on, well, this is actually for either class, drawing or watercolor, think about how you compose your images. So a lot of you, for example, have a path on your painting, or a road or something, and you start it right in the center, the dead center of the painting. Okay, here's your path, and then it rises up almost like a tree trunk. Do you notice that? Where it kind of goes up and there's no recession, so that road, you want the back part of it to look further away, right? Well, the part of the problem you're having is it's a combination of all these different things. You you paint the path the same color from bottom to top, so the eye sees that as a unified object. Your scale change is not dramatic enough, so the road is not wide enough at the bottom and small enough at the top to create the illusion of space. You don't have any kind of overlap, like you can create some overlaps like with vegetation or signs or whatever you can kind of figure out on the road, or even the road itself could kind of subtly overlap. And what else? So I guess the way to think about it is these basic principles I've described here in this video can be combined. They should be combined to create space. And you'll get it. It takes time to figure all this out. And we'll be working on them with specific projects, but I just wanted to kind of start to introduce the idea of space, the illusion of space on a flat surface. It's an important idea. Thanks.